Om Shri Sai. Welcome everyone to our Shri Sai Satcharita Reading. We will start with our opening prayers. Om. 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 भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you, Sam. Auntie Zarina will continue from Hemat's Punch Shimgartana.
Sairam. Hematpant's Shamgar dinner. Now let us take another story which shows how Baba appeared in the form of his pitya and fulfilled the desire of his devotee. In 1917, on the full moon morning, Hematpant had a vision. Baba appeared to him in his dream in the form of a well-dressed sannyasi, woke him up and said that he would come to him for meals that day. This awakening constituted a part of a dream. When he fully awoke, he saw no Sai, no any sannyasi. But when he began to recollect the dream, he remembered each and every word the sannyasi uttered in his dream. Though he was in contact with Baba for 7 years, and though he always meditated on Baba, he never expected that Baba would come to his house for meals. However, being much pleased with Baba's words, he went to his wife and informed her that being the holy day, a sannyasi guest was coming for meals and that some more rice should be prepared. She inquired about the guest, who he was, and whence he was coming. Then, not to lead her astray and not to cause any misunderstanding, he gave her the truth. That is, he told her about the dream. She doubtedly asked whether it was possible that Baba should come here, Bandra from Shirdi, leaving the dainty dishes there for accepting their course meal. Hemat Pant then assured her that Baba might not come in person, but he might attend in the form of a guest, and that they would lose nothing if they cooked some more rice. After this, preparations for the dinner went on, and it was quite ready at noon. The Holika worship was gone and the leaves dishes were spread and arranged with rangoli marks around them. 2 rows were put up with a central seat between them for the guest. All the members of the family, sons, grandsons, daughters, and son-in-laws, etc., came and occupied their proper seat, and the serving of the various articles commenced. While this was being done, everybody was watching for the guest, but none turned up, though it was past noon. Then the door was closed and chained. The Anasuddhi ghee was served. This was a signal to start eating. Formal offering to the Vishwadeva fire and Naivedya to Sri Krishna were also over, and the members were about to begin. When footsteps in the stairs were distinctly heard, Hemant Pant went immediately and opened the door and saw 2 men there, one Ali Muhammad and Maulana Ismu Mujawar. These 2 persons, saying that meals were ready and all the members were about to begin eating, apologized to Hemant Pant and requested him to excuse their interference. They said, leave your seat and come, left your, no, okay, that's something there. Left your seat and came running to us. Others are waiting for you. So please take this, your thing, and I shall relate all the wonderful tale about it later on at your convenience. So saying, he took out from his armpit a packet wrapped in an old newspaper covered and placed it on the table. Hemant Pant uncovered the packet and saw, to his great wonder and surprise, a big, nice picture of Sai Baba Seeing it, he was much moved. Tears ran from his eyes, and his hair stood on end all over his body, and he bent and placed his head on the feet of Baba in the picture. He thought that Baba had blessed him by this miracle or Leela. Out of curiosity, he asked Ali Muhammad whence did he got this picture. He said that he bought it from a shop and that he would give all the details about it sometime afterwards, and wished that all the members were waiting for him. He should go and join them. Hemanpad thanked him, bade them goodbye, and returned to the dining hall. The picture was placed on the central seat reserved for the guest, and after the due offering of the Naivedya, the whole party commenced eating and finished it in proper time. Seeing the beautiful form in the picture, everybody was extremely pleased and wondered how all this happened. This is how Sai Baba kept up and fulfilled his words uttered by him in the dream in Hemadpad. The story of the picture with all its details, namely how Ali Muhammad got it, why he bought it and gave it to Hemadpad, is reserved for the next chapter. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Story of the pictures. Stealing the rags and reading of Jaineshwari. As stated in the last chapter, we continue here the story of the picture. 9 years after the occurrence of the incident depicted in the last chapter, Ali Muhammad saw Hemanpad and related to him the following story. One day, while wandering in the streets of Bombay, he bought the picture from a street hawker. Then he framed it and set it on a wall in his house at Bandra, a suburb of Bombay. As he loved Baba, he daily took darshan of it. 3 months before he gave the picture to Hemanpad, he was suffering from an abscess or swelling on his leg, for which an operation was performed, and he was convalescent in the house of his brother-in-law, Mr. Noor Muhammad, P-boy in Bombay. For 3 months, his house in Bandra was closed, and nobody was living there. Only the pictures of the famous Baba, Abdul Rahman, Maulana Sahib, Muhammad Hassan, Baba Sai, Baba Tajuddin, and other saints living were there. The wheel of time did not even spare these. He was laying sick and suffering in Bombay. Why should the pictures suffer there in Bandra? It seems that they have also in their ins and outs births and deaths. All the pictures met their fate, but how Sai Baba's picture escaped it, nobody had been able to explain to me up until now. It shows the all-pervasiveness, omnipresence of Sai and his inscrutable power. He got a small picture of Saint Baba Abdul Rahman from Muhammad Hussain Tariyaptopan many years ago. He gave it to his brother-in-law, Nur Muhammad Pirbo, and it was lain on his table for 8 years. Once the latter saw it, took it to a photographer and got it enlarged to life size and distributed copies of the same amounts his relatives, relations, and friends, including Ali Muhammad, who fixed it up in his Bandra house. Nur Muhammad was a disciple of Saint Abdul Rahman, and when he went to present the picture to his guru in an open darbar held by him, the guru got wild and ran to beat him and drove him out. He felt very sorry and dejected. He thought that he lost so much of his money and incurred his guru's displeasure and anger. As his guru did not like image worship, he took the enlarged picture with him to the Apollo Bundar and, after hiring a boat, went in it and drowned it in the sea. He requested the friends and relations to return their copies, and after getting them, 6 in all, back, had them thrown by a fisherman in the Bandra Sea. At this time, Ali Muhammad was in his brother-in-law's house. He was told by him that his suffering would come to an end if he would soon drown the pictures of the saints in the sea. Hearing this, Ali Muhammad sent his meta, his manager, to his Bandra house and got all the pictures of the saints in his house and threw them in the sea. When Ali Muhammad returned home after 2 months, he was surprised to find Baba's pictures on the wall as before. He did not understand how his manager took away all the pictures except this. He immediately took it out and kept it in his cupboard, fearing that if his brother-in-law saw it, he would do away with it. While he was thinking how how it should be disposed of, thinking, I think, how it should be disposed of, and who would keep it and guard it well, Sai Baba himself, as it were, suggested to him that he should see and consult Maulana Ismu Mujawar and abide by his opinion. He saw the Maulana and told him everything. After nature considered them both decided, after mature consideration, they both decided that the picture should be presented to Anasadhim, Hemanpant, and that he would protect it. Then they both went to Hemanpant and presented the picture in the nick of time. This story shows how Baba knew all the past, present, and future, and how skillfully he pulled the wires and fulfilled desires of his devotees. The following story shows that Baba liked very much those persons who took real interest in matters spiritual, and that he removed all their difficulties and made them happy. Stealing the rags and reading of Janeshwari, Mr. B.V. Doe, who was Mamlatar of Dahanu, Thana district, wished for a long time to read Janeshwari, the well-known Marathi commentary on the Bhagavad Gita by Janeshwar, along with the other scriptures. He could read daily one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and some portion of other books, but when he took Janeshwari in hand, some difficulties cropped up, and he was precluded from reading it. He took 3 months' leave and went to Shirdi and thence to his home at Pound for rest. He could read their other books, but when he opened Janeshwari, some evil or stray thoughts came crowded in his mind and stopped him in the effort. Try however he might, he was not able to read even a few lines of the book with ease. So he resolved in his mind that when Baba would create love for the book and would order him to read it, he would begin, and not till then. Then in the month of February 1940, I'm sorry, I have to look at I have to look at the computer now. He went with his family to Shirdi. There, Jog asked him whether he daily read Janeshwari. Dio said that he was desirous of reading it, but he was not successful, and that only when Baba would order him to read it, he would commence. Jog then advised him to take a copy of the book and present it to Baba and to start the reading after it was consecrated and returned by him. Dio then replied that he did not want to resort to this device as Baba knows his heart. Would he not know his desire and satisfy it by giving him a clear order to read? Dio then saw Baba and offered 1 rupee of dakshina. Baba asked for 20 rupees, which he gave. At night, he saw 1 balagram and inquired how he secured Baba's devotion and grace. Balagram told him that he would communicate everything next day after Arati. When Dio went for darshan the next day, Baba asked for 20 rupees, which he gave willingly. As the masjid was crowded, Dio went aside and sat in a corner. Baba asked him to come close and sit with a calm mind, which Dio did. Then after the noon arti was over, and after the men dispersed, Dio saw again Balagram and asked him his previous history, what Baba told him, and how he was taught meditation. Balagram was going to reply when Baba sent 1 Chandru, a leper devotee, to call Dio to him. When Dio went to Baba, the latter asked him when and with whom and what he was talking. He asked that he talked with Balagram and heard from him his fame. Then Baba asked again for 25 rupees as dakshina, which Dio gladly gave. Then Baba asked again 25 rupees as dakshina, which Dio gladly gave. Then Baba took him inside and sitting near the post charged him, saying, "Stole away my rags without my knowledge." Dio denied all knowledge of the rags, but Baba asked him to make a search. He searched but found none. Then Baba got angry and said, "Is nobody here? You are the only thief? So, gray-haired old man, you came here for stealing?" After this, Baba lost his temper, got terribly wild, gave all sorts of abuses and scolding. Dio remained silent and watching and thought that he might get a beating also. After about an hour or so, Baba asked him to go to the Vada. He returned to the Vada and told Jog and Balagram all that had happened. Then, in the afternoon, Baba sent for all and Dio also and said that his words might have pained the old man Dio, but as he committed the theft, he could not but sneak out. Speak out. Then Baba asked again for 12 rupees. Dio collected the amount, paid it, and prostrated himself before him. Then Baba said to him, "Go on daily reading the Piti Janeshwari. Go and sit in the Vada, read something regularly every day, and while reading, explain the portion read to all with love and devotion. I'm sitting here, read to give you the whole gold embroidery Sheila, valuable cloth. Then why go to others to steal rags? And why should you go get out into the habit of stealing?" Dio was much pleased to hear the words of Baba, for he asked him to start reading Poti Janeshwaris. He thought that he got what he wanted and that he could read the book with ease thenceforth. He again prostrated himself before Baba and said that he surrendered himself to him and that he should be treated as a child and be helped in his reading. He realized then that Baba meant by stealing the rags what he asked Balagram constituted the rags, and Baba did not like his behavior in this respect. As he was ready to answer any question, he did not like him to ask others and make unnecessary inquiries, and therefore he harassed and scolded him. Dio thought that he really did not harass and scold, but he thought that Baba was ready to fulfill his desires, and there was no use asking others in vain. Dio took these scoldings as flowers and blessings and went home satisfied and contented. The matter did not end here. Baba did not stop with only issuing an order to read. Within a year, he went to Dio and inquired about his progress. On the 2nd of April, 1914, on Thursday morning, Baba gave him a dream vision. He sat on the upper floor and asked him whether he understood the Poti. Quote, answered Dio. "Baba, when are you going to understand?" Dio burst into tears and said, "You shower your grace. The reading is mere worry and the understanding is still more difficult. I say this definitely. Baba, Baba says, reading, you make haste. Read it before me in my presence." Dio, shall I read? Baba, Adhyatma, spiritualism. Dio went to bring the book. When he opened his eyes, he was awakened. We leave the readers to imagine the ineffable joy and bliss Dio felt after this vision. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Previous indication, averting death of Ramachandra, Dada Patel, and Tatya Koti Patel. Charity to Lakshmi Bhai, Cindy Last Moment. This chapter describes the passing away of Baba. Preliminary. The stories given in the previous chapter have shown that the light of Guru's grace removes out fear of the mundane existence, opens the path of salvation and turns our misery into happiness. If we always remember the feet of the Sadguru, our troubles come to an end. Death loses its sting, and the misery of his mundane existence is obliterated. Therefore, those who care for their welfare should carefully listen to these stories of Sai Samarat, which will purify their minds. In the beginning, Hemanpad dwells on Dr. Pandit's worship and his marking Baba's forehead with Tir Pundra, that is, the three horizontal lines. But as this has been already described in chapter 11, this has been omitted here. Previous indication, the readers still up now heard the stories of Baba's life. Let them now hear attentively Baba's passing away. Baba got a slight attack of fever on the 28th of February 1918. The fever lasted 2 or 3 days, but afterwards Baba gave up his food and thereby he grew weaker and weaker. On the 17th day, that is a Tuesday, the 15th of October 1918, Baba left his mortal coil at about 2:30 p.m. Vedi Professor G.G. Narki's letter dated 5th November 1918 to Dada Sahib's Kapardi, published in the Leela magazine, page 78, first year. 2 years before this, that is in 1916, Baba gave an indication of his passing away, but nobody understood it then. It was as follows. On the Vijaya Dasami Dasara day, Baba at once got into wild rage in the evening when people returning from Simulangham, crossing the border or limits of the village. Taking off his headdress, kafni, and lagota, etc., he tore them and threw them into the dhuni before him. Fed by this offering, the fire in the dhuni began to burn brighter, and Baba shone still brighter. He stood there stark naked and with his burning red eyes shouted, "Fellows, now have a look and decide finally whether I am a Muslim or a Hindu." Everybody was trembling with fear and none dared to approach Baba. After some time, Bhagoji Sindhi, the leper devotee of Baba, went boldly near him and succeeded in tying a lagota waistband around his waist and said, "What is all this? Today is the Seal Manalanga, that is Dasara holiday." Baba, striking the ground with his tatka, said, "Is my Simulanghan crossing the border?" Baba did not cool down till 11 p.m., and the people doubted whether the Chavadi procession would ever take place that night. After an hour, Baba resumed his normal condition and dressing himself as usual. Where did I reach? Okay, got it. Dressing himself as usual, attended the Chavari procession as described before. By this incident, Baba gave a suggestion that Dasara was the proper name for him to cross the border of life, but none understood the meaning. Baba gave also another indication as follows: averting death of Ramachandra and Tatya Patel. Sometime after this, Ramachandra Patel became seriously ill. He suffered a lot. He tried all remedies, but finding no relief, despaired of his life and was still waiting for the last moment. The one midnight, Baba suddenly stood near his pillow. Patel held his feet and said, "Have lost all hopes of life. Please tell me definitely when I shall die." Merciful Baba said, "Don't be anxious. Your Hindi death warrant has been withdrawn and you will soon recover. I am afraid of Tatya Patel. He will pass away on Vijayadashami of Shaka 1840, 1880. Do not divulge this to anyone, nor to him, for he will be terribly frightened. Ramachandra Dada got well, but he felt nervous about Tatya's life, for he knew that Baba's word was unalterable, alterable, and that Tatya would breathe his last within 2 years. He kept this hint secret, told it to no one but one Baba Shimpi, a tailor. Only these two persons, Ramachandra Dada and Bala Shimpi, were in fear and suspense regarding Tatya's life. Ramachandra Dada soon left his bed and was on his legs. Time passed quickly. The month Bhadrapi of Shaka 1840, that is 1880, was ending and Ashwin was in sight. True to Baba's word, Tatya fell sick and was bedridden, and so he could not come for Baba's darshan. Baba was also down with fever. Tatya had full faith in Baba and Baba in Lord Harry, who was his protector. Tatya's illness began to grow from bad to worse, and he could not move at all, but always remembered Baba. The predicament of Baba began to grow equally worse. The day predicted, that is, Vijayadashami, was impending, and both Ramachandra Dada and Bala Shrimpi were terribly frightened about Tatya, and, with their bodies trembling and perspiring with fear, thought that, as predicted by Baba, Tatya's end was near. Vijayadashami dawned, and Tatya's pulse began to beat very slow, and he was expected to pass away shortly. But a curious thing happened. Tatya remained. His death was averted, and Baba passed away in his stead. It seems as if there was an exchange. People said that Baba gave up his life for Tatya. Why he did so, he alone knows, as his ways were inscrutable. It seems, however, that in this incident, Baba gave a hint of his passing away, substituting Tatya's name for his own. Next morning, 16th October, Baba appeared to Das Ganu at Pandharpur in his dream and said to him, Masjid collapsed. All the oilmen and grocers of Shirdi teased me a lot, so I leave the place. I therefore came to inform you here. Please go there quickly and cover me with bakal flowers. Das Ganu got the information also from Shirdi letters. So he came to Shirdi with his disciples and started bhajans and kirtan and sang the Lord's name all through the day before Baba's samadhi. Himself weaving a beautiful garland of flowers studded with Lord Harry's name, he placed it on Baba's samadhi and gave him a mass feeding in Baba's name. Charity to Lakshmibai. Dasara of Vijayadashami is regarded by all Hindus as the most auspicious time, and it is benefiting that Baba should choose this time for his crossing the borderline. He was lying some days before this, but he was ever conscious internally. Just before the last moment, he sat up erect without anybody's aid and looked better. People thought that the danger had passed off and he was getting well. He knew that he was to pass away soon, and therefore he wanted to give some money as charity to Lakshmi Bai Sindhi. Baba pervading all creatures. Thus, this Lakshmi Bai Sindhi was a good and well-to-do woman. She was working in the masjid day and night, except Bhagat Mahalasapati, Tatya, and Lakshmi Bai. None was allowed to step into the masjid at night. Once, while Baba was sitting in the masjid with Tatya in the evening, Lakshmi Bai came and saluted Baba. The latter said to her, "Oh, Lakshmi, I am very hungry. Off she went, saying, Wait a bit. I return immediately with bread. She did return with bread and vegetables and placed the same before Baba. He took it up and gave it to a dog. Lakshmi Bai then asked, Is this, Baba? I ran in haste, prepared bread with my own hands for you, and you threw it to a dog without eating a morsel of it? You give me trouble unnecessarily, Baba replied. Do you grieve for something? The appeasement of the dog's hunger is the same as mine. The dog has got a soul. The creatures may be different, but the hunger for all is the same. Though some speak and others are dumb, know for certain that he who feeds the hungry rarely serves me with food. Regard this as an axiomatic truth. This is an ordinary incident, but Baba thereby propounded a great spiritual truth and showed its practical application in daily life without hurting anybody's feeling. From this time onward, Lakshmi Bai began to offer her daily bread and milk with love and devotion. Baba accepted and ate it appreciatingly. He took a part of this and sent the remainder with Lakshmi Bai to Radha Krishna Mai, who always relished and ate Baba's remnant prasad. This bread story should not be considered as digression. It shows how Sai Baba pervaded all the creatures and transcended them. His omnipresent, birthless, deathless. He is omnipresent, birthless, and deathless, and immortal. Baba remembered Lakshmi Bai's service. How could he forget her? Just before leaving the body, he put his hand in his pocket and gave her once 5 rupees and again 4 rupees, in all 9 rupees. This figure 9 is indicative of the 9 types of devotion described in chapter 21, or it may be the dakshina offering offered at the time of Simolangan. Lakshmi Bai was a well-to-do woman, and so she was not in want of any money. So Baba might have suggested to her and brought prominently to her notice the 9 characteristics of a good discipline mentioned in the 6th verse of chapter 10, Skanda 11 of the Bhagavad, wherein first 5 and then 4 characteristics are mentioned. In the first and second couplets, Baba followed the order, first paid 5 rupees, then 4 rupees, in all 9 rupees. Not only 9, but many times 9 rupees passed through Lakshmi Bai's hand. But Baba's this gift of 9 she will ever remember. Being so well watchful, conscious, Baba also took other precautions in his last moments in order that he should not be embroiled or entangled with love and affection for his devotees. He ordered them all to clear off. Kaka Sahib Dixit, Babu Sahib Bhuti, and others were all in the masjid, anxiously waiting upon Baba. But he asked them to go to the Vada and return after meals. They could not leave Baba's presence, nor could they disobey him. So with heavy hearts and heavy feet, they went to the Vada. They knew that Baba's case was very serious and that they could not forget him. They sat for meals, but their mind was elsewhere. It was with Baba. Before they finished, news came to them of Baba's leaving the mortal coil. Leaving their dishes, they ran to the masjid and found that Baba rested finally on Bhayaji's lap. He did not fall down on the ground, nor did he lie on his bed, but sitting quietly on his seat and doing charity with his own hand, threw off the mortal coil. Saints embody themselves and come into this world with a definite mission, and after that is fulfilled, pass away as quickly and easily as they came. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sarah.
Thank you, Auntie Zareen.
Thanks.
Sister Ratna, please
Hi,
continue from, yeah, please continue from chapter 42.
Preparation Samadhi Mandir, breaking out the brick. 72 hours Samadhi, Jog Sanyas, Baba's nectar-like words. Chapter 43-44 continue the story of Baba's passing away, and therefore they are taken together. Previous preparation. It is a general practice among the Hindus that when a man is about to die, some good religious scripture is read out to him with the object that his mind should be withdrawn from worldly things and fixed in matters spiritual, so that his future progress should be natural and easy. Everybody knows that when King Parikshit was cursed by the son of a Brahmin rishi and was about to die after a week, the great sage Sukha expounded to him the famous Bhagavad Puran in that week. This practice is followed even now in Gita, Bhagavad, and other sacred books are read out to dying person. Baba, being an incarnation of God, needed no such help. But just to set an example to the people, he followed this practice. When he knew he was to pass away soon, he ordered one Mr. Veze to read Rama Vijaya to him. Mr. Veze read the book once in the week. Then Baba asked him to read the same again day and night, and he finished the second reading in 3 days. Thus 11 days passed. Then again he read for 3 days and was exhausted. So Baba let him go and kept himself quiet. He abided on himself and was waiting for the last moment. 2 or 3 days previous, Baba had stopped his morning peregrinations and begging rounds and sat in the masjid. He was conscious to the last and was advising the devotees not to lose heart. He let nobody know the exact time of his departure. Kaka Sahib Dixit and Sriman Bhuti were dining daily with him in the masjid. That day, 15th of October, after Aarti, he asked them to go to their residence for dining. Still, a few ways Lakshmi Bai Shinde, Bhagwati Shinde, Bayaji, Lakshman Bhala Shimpi, and Nana Sahib Nimodkar remained there. Shama was sitting down on the steps. After giving 9 rupees to Lakshmi Bai Shinde, Baba said that he did not feel well there in the masjid and he should be taken to the Dagadi stone, Wada of Bhuti, where he would be all right. Saying this last word, he leaned on Bayaji's body and breathed his last. Bhagoji noticed that his breathing had stopped and he immediately told this to Nana Sahib Nimodkar, who was sitting below. Nana Sahib brought some water and put it in Baba's mouth. It came out. Then he cried out loudly, "Oh Deva!" Baba seemed just to open his eyes and said, "Ah," in a low tone. But it soon became evident that Baba had left his body for good. The news of Baba's passing away spread like a wildfire in the village of Shirdi, and all people, men, women, and children, ran to the masjid and began to mourn this loss in various ways. Some cried out loudly, some wallowed on in the streets, and some fell down senseless. Tears ran down from the eyes of all, and everyone was smitten with sorrow. Then the questions arose: how to dispose of Baba's body? Some Mahomedans said that the body should be interred in an open space with a tomb built over it. Even Kushal Chand and Amir Sakal shared this opinion. But Ramachandra Patil, the village officer, said to the villagers with a firm and determined voice, "Your thought is not acceptable to us. Baba's body should be nowhere placed except in the water." Thus, people were divided on this point, and discussion regarding this point went on for 36 hours. On Wednesday morning, Baba appeared to Lakshman Mama Joshi in his dream and drawing him by his hand and said, "Get up soon. Babu Sahib thinks that I'm dead, and so he won't come. You do the worship and the Kakad morning arti." Lakshman Mama was the village astrologer and was the maternal uncle of Shama. He was an Orthodox Brahmin and daily first worshipped Baba in the morning and then all village deities. He had full faith in Baba. After the vision, he came with all the puja materials and not minding the protest of the Maulvis, did the puja and the Kakad Arti with all due formalities and went away. Then at noon, Babu Sahib Jog came with all the others and went through the noon aarti ceremony as usual. Paying due respect to Baba's word, the people decided to place his body in the water and started digging the central portion there. In the evening of Tuesday, the sub-inspector came from Rahata and others from other places turned up and they all agreed to the proposal. Next morning, Amir Bai came from Bombay and the Malada from Kopergaon. The people seemed divided in their opinion. Some insisted on interring his body in the open field. The Mamladar therefore took a general plebiscite and found that the proposal to use the water secured double the number of votes. He, however, wanted to refer the matter to the collector, and Kakasaheb Dixit got himself ready to go to Ahmednagar. In the meanwhile, Baba's inspiration was a change in the opinion of the other people, and all the people unanimously voted for the proposal. On Wednesday evening, Baba's body was taken in possession and brought to the water and was interred there with due formalities in the Garbha, the central portion reserved for Murlidhar. In fact, Baba became the Murlidhar and the water became a temple and a holy shrine where so many devotees went and are going now to find rest and peace. All the obsequies of Baba were duly performed by Bala Sahib Bhate and Upasani, a great devotee of Baba. Breaking of the brick. Some days before Baba's departure, there occurred an ominous sign foreboding the event. There was in the masjid an old brick on which Baba rested his hand and sat. At night time, he leaned against it and had his asan. This went on for so many years. One day during Baba's absence, a boy who was sweeping the floor took it up in his hand and fortunately slipped from thence, fell down broken into pieces. When Baba came to know about this, he bemoaned its loss, crying, "It is not the brick, but my faith that has been broken in pieces. It was my lifelong companion while I always meditated on the self. It was as dear to me as my life. It has left me today." Some may raise here a question: why should Baba express this sorrow for such an inanimate thing as a brick? To this, Hemad Pant replies that saints incarnate in this world with the express mission of saving the poor, helpless people. And when they embody themselves and mix and act with the people, they act like them. For example, outwardly laugh, play, and cry like all other people, but inwardly they are wide awake to their duties and mission. 72 hours summary. 32 years before this, in 1886 AD, Baba made an attempt to cross the borderline. On a Margar Shirsha Purnima, full moon day, Baba suffered from a severe attack of asthma. To get rid of it, Baba decided to take his prana high up and go into samadhi. He said to Bhagat Malasapi, "Protect my body for 3 days. If I return, it will be all right. If I do not, bury my body in that open land," pointing to it, and fix 2 flags there as a mark. Saying this, Baba fell down at about 10 p.m. His breathing stopped as well as his pulse. It seemed as if his prana left the body. All the people, including the villagers, came there and wanted to hold an inquest and bury the body in the place pointed by Baba. But Malasapti prevented this. With Baba's body on his lap, he sat full 3 days guarding it. After 3 days passed, Baba showed sign of life at 3 a.m. His breathing commenced. The abdomen began to move. His eyes opened, stretching his limbs. Baba returned to consciousness again. From this and other counts, let the readers consider whether Sai Baba was the 3.5 cubits body and he occupied this for some years and that he left thereafter, or he was the self inside. The body composed of 5 elements is perishable and transient, but the self within is the thing, absolute reality, which is immortal and intransient. The pure being, consciousness or Brahma, the ruler and controller of the senses and mind, is the thing, Sai. This pervades all things in the universe, and there's no space without it. For fulfilling his mission, he assumed the body, and after it was fulfilled, he threw away the body, the finite aspect, and assumed his infinite aspect. Sai ever lives as although the previous incarnation of God Data, Sri Narsimha Saraswati of Ganagapur. His passing away is only an outward aspect, but really he pervades all animate and inanimate things and is their inner controller and ruler. This can be and is even now experienced by many who surrender themselves completely to him and worship him with wholehearted devotion. Though it is not possible for us to see Baba's form now, still, if we go to Shirdi, we shall find his beautiful lifelike portrait adorning the masjid. This has been drawn by Sam Rao Jaikar, a famous artist and well-known devotee of Baba. To an imaginative and devout spectator, these photos can give even today the satisfaction of taking Baba's darshana. Though Baba has nobody now, he lives there and everywhere and will effect the welfare of the devotees even now, as he was doing before, when he was embodied saints like Baba never died. Though they look like men, they are in reality God himself. Babu Sahib Jog Sannyas. Hemanpai closes his chapter with the account of Jog Sannyas. Shakaram Hari alias Babu Sahib Jog was the uncle of famous Barkari Vishnu Buva Jog of Pune. After his retirement from government service, he was a supervisor in the PW department. In 1909 AD, he came and lived in Shirdi with his wife. He had no issue. Both husband and wife loved Baba and spent all the time in worshipping and serving Baba. After Megha's death, Babu Sahib daily did the Aarti ceremony in the masjid and Chavadi till Baba's Mahasamadhi. He was also entrusted with the work of reading and explaining Ganeshwari and Ekanathi Bhagwat in Sati's Wada to the audience. After serving for many years, Jogs asked Baba, I have served you so long. My mind is not yet calm and composed. How is it that my contact with saints has not improved me? When will you bless me? Hearing the Bhakta's prayer, Baba replied, in due time, your bad action, the fruit or result, will be destroyed. Your merits and demerits will be reduced to ashes, and I shall consider you blessed when you will renounce all attachment, conquer lust and palate, and getting rid of impediments, serve God wholeheartedly and resort to the begging bowl, accept sannyas. After some time, Baba's word came true. His wife predeceased him, and as he had no other attachment, he became free and accepted sannyas before his death and realized the goal of his life. Baba's nectars like words. The kind and merciful Sai Baba said many a time the following sweet words in the masjid. He who loves me most always sees me. The whole world is desolate to him without me. He tells no stories but mine. He ceaselessly meditates upon me and always chants my name. I feel indebted to him who surrenders himself completely to me and even remembers me. I shall repay his debt by giving him salvation, self-realization. I'm dependent on him who thinks and hungers after me and who does not eat anything without first offering it to me. He who thus comes to me becomes one with me, just as a river gets to the sea and becomes merged one with it. So leaving out pride and egoism, and with no trace of them, you should surrender yourself to me, who am seated in your heart. Who is this me? Sai Baba expounded many a time who this me or I is. He said, you need not go far or anywhere in search of me. Barring your name and form, there exists in you as well as in many beings a sense of being or consciousness of existence. That is myself. Knowing this, you see me inside yourself as well as in all beings. If you practice this, you realize all pervasiveness and thus attain oneness with me. Himatpal therefore makes a vow to the readers and requests them humbly and lovingly that they should love and respect all gods, saints, and devotees. Has not Baba often said, "He who carves and covers at others pierces me in the heart and injures me. But he that suffers and endures pleases me most." Baba thus pervades all beings and creatures and besets them on all sides. He likes nothing but love to all things. Such nectar, pure auspicious ambrosia, always flowed from Baba's lips. He therefore concludes, those who lovingly sing Baba's fame and those who hear the same with devotion both become one with Sai. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sai Satcharita, chapter 43. Kaka Sahib doubt at Anand Rao's vision, wooden plank Baba's bedstead and nut buckets. Preliminary. We have described in the last 3 chapters Baba's passing away. His physical or infinite form has no doubt disappeared from our view, but infinite or spiritual form, spirit of Baba, ever lives. The Leelas which occurred during his lifetime has been dwelt upon at great length up to now. Ever since his passing away, fresh Leelas have taken place and are even now happening. This clearly shows that Baba is ever living and helping his devotees as before. The people who got the contact of Baba when he was living were indeed very fortunate, but if any of them did not get a dispassion for the things and enjoyments of the world and had not their minds turned to the Lord, it was surely their ill luck. What was then wanted and is now wanted is the wholehearted devotion to Baba. All our senses, organs, and minds should cooperate in worshipping and serving Baba. It is no use in engaging such organs in the worship of deflecting others. If a thing like worship or meditation is to be done, it ought to be done with all our mind and soul. The love that a chaste woman bears to her husband is sometimes compared to that which a disciple bears to his master, Guru. Yet the former falls far short of the latter, which is incomparable. No one, whether he be a father, mother, brother, or any relation, comes to our aid in attaining the goal of life, self-realization. We have to chalk out and traverse the path of self-realization ourselves. We have to discriminate between the unreal and the real, renounce the things and enjoyment of this world and the next, control our senses and mind, and aspire for liberation only. Instead of depending upon others, we should have full faith in ourselves. When we begin to practice discrimination, we come to know that the world is transient and real, and our passion for worldly things becomes less and less, and ultimately we get dispassion or non-attachment for them. When we know that the Brahma, which is no other than our Guru, is the sole reality and it is transient and besets the seeming universe, we begin to worship it in all creatures. This is the unity bhajan or worship. When we thus worship the Brahma or Guru wholeheartedly, we become one with him and attain self-realization. In short, always chanting the name of the Guru and meditating on him enable us to see him in all beings and confers eternal bliss on us. The following story will illustrate this. Kaka Sahib's doubt and Ananda Rao's vision. It is well known that Sai Baba had enjoyed Kaka Sahib Dixit to read daily 2 works of Sri Ekanath, one Bhagavad, the second Bharwata Ramayan. Kaka Sahib read this daily while Baba was living, and he followed the practice even after Baba's passing away. Once in Kaka Mahajani's house in Chowpatty, Bombay, Kaka Sahib was reading Ekanati Bhagavad in the morning. Madhava Rao Deshpande alias Sama and Kaka Mahajani were then present and listened attentively to the portion read, the second chapter, 11th skanda of the book. They're in the 9 natas or siddhas of the Rishabha family: Kavi Hari Antakrishna, Prabudha, Pipalayan, Avilhotra, Dromil, Chamas, and Karabajan expounded the principle of the Bhagavad Dharma to King Janak. The latter asked all the 9 natas most important questions, and each of them answered them satisfactorily. The first, Kavi explained what is Bhagavad Dharma, Hari, the characteristics of a bhakta, devotee, Antariksha, what is Maya, Prabudha, how to cross Maya, Pipalayan, what is Para Brahma, Avilhotra, what is karma, Dromir, the incarnation of God and the days, Chamas, how a non-devotee fares after death, Karabajan, the different modes of worship of God in different ages. The substance of all the exposition was that in this Kali age, the only means of liberation was the remembrance of Hari's, Lord's, or Guru's feet. After the reading was over, Kaka Sahib was in a despondent tone to Madhavarao and others. How wonderful is the discourse of the 9 natas or the bhakti or devotion, on bhakti or devotion. But at the same time, how difficult it is to put it into practice. The natas were perfect, but is it possible for fools like us to attain the devotion as delineated by them? We won't get in even in several births. Then how are we to get salvation? It seems that there is no hope for us. Madhavarao did not like the pessimistic attitude of Kakasai. He said, it is a pity that one who by his good look got such a jewel guru as Baba should cry out so despairingly. If he has unwavering faith in Baba, why would he feel restless? The bhakti of the natas may be strong and wonderful, but is not ours loving and affectionate? And has not Baba told us authoritatively that remembering and chanting Hari's and Guru's name confers salvation? Then where is the cause for fear and anxiety? Kakasai was not satisfied with Mother Rao's explanation. He continued to be anxious and restless the whole day, thinking and brooding over how to get the powerful bhakti of the natas. Next morning, the following miracle took place. One gentleman named Andarao Pakare came there in search of Mother Barao. The reading of the Bhagavad was then going on. Mr. Pakare sat near Mother Barao and was whispering something to him. He was mentioning in low tone his dream vision. As there was some interruption in the reading by his whispering, Kaka Sahib stopped the reading and asked Madhavarao what the matter was. The latter said, yesterday you expressed your doubt. Now there is the explanation of it. Here Mr. Pakare's vision which Baba gave him, explaining the characteristic of saving devotion and showing that the devotion in the form of bow to or worship of Guru's feet is sufficient. All were anxious to hear the vision, especially Kaka Sahib, at their suggestion. Mr. Pakare began to relate the vision as follows. I was standing in a deep sea in waist-deep water. Then I saw Sai Baba all of a sudden. He was sitting on a beautiful stone studded with diamonds with his feet in water. I was most pleased and satisfied with the form of Baba. The vision was so realistic that I never thought that it was a dream. Curiously enough, Madhava Rao was also standing there. He said to me feelingly, Ananda Rao, fall at Baba's feet. I rejoined, I also wish to do so, but his feet are in water. How can I place my head on them? I'm helpless. Hearing this, he said to Baba, Oh Deva, take out your feet which are under water. Then Baba immediately took out his feet. I caught them without delay and bowed to them. On seeing this, Baba blessed, saying, Go now, you will attain your welfare. There's no cause to fear and anxiety. He also added, Give a sick bordered daughter to my Shama, you will profit thereby. In compliance with Baba's order, Mr. Pakade brought the daughter and requested Kaka Sahib to hand it over to Mother Barao. but the latter refused to accept it, saying that unless Baba gave a hint or suggestion for acceptance, he would not accept it. Then, after some discussion, Kaka Sahib decided to cast lots. It was the invariable practice of Kaka Sahib to cast lots in all dubious matters and to abide by the decision as shown by the picket up chit or lot. In this particular case, two chits were one of which was written to accept and on the other to reject, were placed at the feet of Baba's picture, and an infant was asked to pick one of them. The to accept chit was picked up, and the daughter was handed over to and accepted by Madhava Rao. In this way, both Anand Rao and Madhava Rao were satisfied, and Kaka Sahib's difficulty was solved. This story exhorts us to give respect to the words of other saints, but at the same time asks us to have full faith in our mother, the Guru, and abide by his instructions, for he knows our welfare better than any other person. Carve out on your heart the following words of Baba. There are innumerable saints in this world, but our Father, Guru, is the Father, real Guru. Others might say many good things, but we should never forget our Guru's word. In short, love your Guru wholeheartedly, surrender to him completely, and prostrate yourself before him reverentially, and then you'll see that there is no sea or mundane existence before you to cross. There's no darkness before the sun. Wooden planks, Baba's bedstead, and not buggets. In his earlier days, Baba slept on a wooden plank, 4 arms in length and only a span in breadth, and with panatis, earthen lamps, burning at the 4 corners. Later on, he broke the plank into pieces and threw it away. Example, I think, chapter 10. Once Baba was describing the greatness and importance of this plank to Kaka Sahib. Hearing this, the latter said to Baba, if you still love the wooden plank, I will again suspend or hang up one in the masjid again for you to sleep at ease. Baba said, I would like to sleep up, leaving Malsapati down on the ground. Then Kaka Sahib said, I will provide another plank for Malsapati. Baba, how can he sleep on the plank? It is not easy to sleep up on the plank. He who has many good qualities in him can do so. He who can sleep with his eyes wide open can effect that. When I go to sleep, I ask often Mahaspati to sit by my side, place his hand on my heart, and watch the chanting of the Lord's name there. And if he finds me sleepy, wake me up. He can't do this. He can't do even this. He simply gets drowsy and begins to nod his head. When I feel his hand heavy as a stone on my heart and cry out, oh Bhagat, he moves and opens his eyes. How can he who can't sit and sleep well on the ground and whose asana posture is not steady and who is a slave to sleep high and up on a plank? On many other occasions, Baba said of love to his for his devotees, what, whether good or bad, is ours, is with us, and what is another's is with him. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all.
Thank you, Sister. Sorry. Thank you, Sister Ratna. We'll take a pause for today and conclude with our closing prayers. Sai Satcharita Reading, Satyadevaya Dhimahi, Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you all for joining today. See you all tomorrow.